Going on, everybody? Friday Q&A on Thursday this week. Wait, can you do that? I don't know. Put your questions in the chat box below. I'm monitoring. I'm checking it. I have Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube pulled up right now. So let me know what questions you guys have for me, and I'll be happy to answer them. This can be anything about general entrepreneurship, selling on Amazon, my wife's name, whatever you guys want to know. Let me know in the chat box below, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Why I wait for a few questions to pour in, even though it looks like you guys are fast because I already see some in there. I want to let you know, if you haven't already tuned in, every week we're doing a $1 million case study every Wednesday. I want to make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube so you get notified of it. And I would really encourage you to go to junglescout.com/million, enter your email address so you get notified of this. But we are building, launching, and scaling a physical products company up to $1 million in revenue. We're going to donate all the money to charity, and we're going to build our goal at least. We'll hit this goal. I'm confident. We're going to build 5 schools in developing countries in the process. It's a really cool thing to be a part of. But what's cool for you is you guys get to follow along with every step along the way, learn from what we do well, learn from our failures, because we're sharing 100% of it totally transparently, and it's free. It costs you nothing. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel or opt in, and you can follow along this entire journey totally for free. No joke. All right. This is a lot of questions pretty fast. So give me a second here. I'm going to try to go back up to the top, and let's see what we've got here. Hey, is it possible to make organic sales? This is from Ori. Hey, is it possible to make organic sales for a new product without making sponsored ads? And if I do make ads, when do I stop them? Yes, it's possible to make organic sales for a brand new product without sponsored ads. However, you have to do something to launch your product, or else it's lost on page 100 of Amazon, okay? That might mean a coupon giveaway. Of course, I'm using JumpSend because that's our product, but JumpSend is a deal site and a platform that lets you give away coupons to people who are interested in purchasing your product. So that's one option. I prefer the combined option, which is the giveaways as well as the Amazon sponsor PPC, but I don't know any reason why you wouldn't use Amazon sponsored products, okay? Part of your question was, and if I do make ads, when do I stop them? I never stop them. I run them forever. I just optimize them until I'm at a point where I'm still profitable with my ad spend. So, if it costs me $1 worth of ad spend to make $5 profit, I'm willing to make that trade all day long. So I never turn them off. Hopefully that makes sense. Quay's making fun of me saying Greg's hairline is higher than the competition in my niche. All right, man, lay off. I'm actually turning 30 years old in 10 days. My wife constantly reminds me of this. And my hairline is showing my age now, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm rocking the convertible top, right? Greg, could you possibly walk us through the shipping process, particularly how we arrange shipping after goods have been shipped to our country, UK from me, and who prepares cartons? Thank you. This is what I do, and this is what I recommend to you guys, okay? I get my goods manufactured in China. They're shipped from China to Amazon's distribution center. So I never touch this inventory. I don't unload cartons or unload trucks or whatever. That's not an enjoyable task and something I don't recommend. So that's what I definitely recommend you at least do in the long term. Part of your question was how or who prepares the cartons. The factory does. You give the factory the labels. They put the carton labels on the particular cartons. Then after that, they're ready to go into Amazon, okay? If that scares you because this is your first product, feel free to ship it to your particular house and then ship it into Amazon. But there is a little additional cost in that. However, I understand that a lot of new sellers want to, it's like, hey, I just spent $1,000 on inventory. I want to see all these boxes and hold the product for myself because I never got a chance to. Goran asks, how are Jungle Snugs doing? Jungle Snugs are doing well. They're averaging, give or take, 20 units a day. The pink ones are actually our most popular now. So I was actually just looking at Fetcher a few hours ago. The pink ones now are selling about 10 or 12 units a day. The white ones are the next best at let's say 6, maybe 8 units on a good day. And the blue ones aren't really doing that well compared to pink and white. They're only selling like 3 or 4 a day. But that's fine. And now I know this on my reorder, so I'm not going to reorder that many blue units. We're going to continue to sell them, and I'm going to have to order more of the pink ones. But our goal was to sell 10 a day. They're selling about 20 a day, or about 600. I think in the past 30 days, we sold like 650. So we'll say that's like 21 units a day or something. So that's pretty good. We profit about, at the current price point, I think the current profit's about like $4, 20 a day, $80 a day in profit, or I don't know, you can figure that out in a month, on a monthly basis. So they're doing well. They're a great product in our lineup. We'll continue to reorder and sell them, and they're definitely going to help us get to our $1 million in revenue. Can you talk about Andrew Barnhart asked, can you talk about the typical process and timeline of ordering a product from the first sample to the first bulk order to keeping inventory in stock, including suppliers, freight companies, and Amazon? Sure. So it's going to take a little bit of time for you to do your product research. Hopefully you have Jungle Scout and it's helping you do that. Once you chosen your product, and then you're going to have to reach out to factories. Once you find the factory you want, you're going to order your samples. They typically ship those like air courier express. It only takes a few days. You'll get your sample. So that whole timeline can kind of vary depending on how quickly you move forward. Once you put your deposit down on a product, the average, I would say, in China is 30 days for a production run. So the day I put down my deposit to the day it's ready is average about 30. Some of my suppliers are really fast and get it done in like 20 or 25 days. Other suppliers, especially if it's more complicated, are slower, or if they have a big backlog, it might be 40 days or 45 days. So let's just call it 30 because I'd say that's average. If I ship by air at that point, it only takes about like a week to get into Amazon. If I ship by ocean freight, it takes another month to get into Amazon. So if we assume it takes 30 days for your production run and we assume you're shipping by ocean, that's 2 months from the day you put down your deposit to the day it lands in Amazon. So it's kind of a timely, like a process that takes some time to get started. But after that, your product's into Amazon, and you're mindful of that when you reorder product, so that, hopefully you never go out of stock. Let's see. Is it possible, Ryan HCS asked this, is it possible for me, the seller, to have my second product show up in the frequently bought together? Yes, it's possible. This doesn't really happen that often, though, from my personal experience, but it's certainly possible. Greg, can you give insight on Fetcher versus Zero? Do they go hand in hand or compete? In my opinion, Fetcher is a fantastic tool if you're a small business that only sells on Amazon, or you're a larger business and you have other accounting tools, but you want the insights of the profitability about your Amazon business, which the other tools can't give you, which I'm not aware of any other, like Zero can't give you like the overall profitability of like a single product, at least like on a daily basis or whatever. So if you're a small business that only sells on Amazon, you can exclusively use Fetcher and ditch Zero. If you're a company that has multiple income streams like Amazon and eBay and Etsy, and you have a car wash on the side, then you're going to need something like Zero or QuickBooks. Are Amazon FBA fees always 15%? No. Sorry, I lost my spot. Jeez, I got a lot of questions in here today. I'm going to have to go fast. Mario asks, are Amazon FBA fees always 15%? No. Amazon commission is usually 15%, but that's not the case across all categories and all products. And keep in mind that if you use FBA, there's additional fees on top of this 15% commission. There's pick, pack, and ship fees, which a lot of those are flat fees depending on the size tier and stuff. So generally, if you're an FBA seller, it's going to be 15% plus pick, pack, and ship fees. But on some categories, it's different than 15%. If you have Jungle Scout, it will show you what the FBA fees are for any particular product. Will you be registering for VAT in the UK? Absolutely. Everything we do is per terms of service, and we're definitely law-abiding citizens, especially so in the case study, but I'm a big believer in that in everything I do. Yes, we will be registering for VAT in the UK, and actually, this next Wednesday or the following Wednesday, I forget which one, we're bringing on an expert to help us with that, because I'm the first to admit I'm not educated in that particular subject, but we're definitely going to bring on an expert to help us with that. What do you say about merging two variations in the same niche for PL, for private label? Sort of killing two birds with one stone. Two variations in the same niche. So you can do this. Like if you go down our Jungle Snugs listing, right? We have 3 variations, pink, blue, and white. They're all in the same listing. I don't totally understand the question, Aaron Palm. Maybe you're saying like, could I do like Jungle Snugs, like which is a hooded baby towel, and washcloths on the same listing? You can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would personally recommend to do 2 separate listings, so you have can optimize them for specific keywords for each of the individual products. If a majority of products I'm interested in are made in Germany and the EU, should I try to first source in the EU instead of China? Sure, Will. Give it a try. I don't have any experience sourcing products in the EU, but it sounds like you already kind of know your factory or whoever's going to make it, so I don't see what you have to lose. Give it a try. June Johnson said, Greg, I'm excited about starting my business selling on Amazon, but I'm nervous about selecting a manufacturer. Have you had any bad experiences sourcing from Alibaba? Great question. I would really encourage you, June, to watch our webinar from last night. So it's on our YouTube channel. It's the $1 Million Case Study Europe Edition Session 4. Actually, you can do 3 and 4. They're both about supplier selection. We go in great detail about how to make sure you have a good experience, what things you want to avoid. I haven't personally ever been burned, and it's my opinion that like 99.9% of people have good experiences on Alibaba and working with these factories, at least people that, kind of like become educated with it, like by watching last night's webinar. Of course, everyone kind of hears about the horror stories because those are the ones that get spread around. No one shares their story on Facebook, how they had a good experience on, the factory off Alibaba. So yeah, I'm not going to go into too much more depth because it can't be, there's a lot to cover. So that's why I encourage you just to watch the webinar from last night. Greg, you are awesome. Can I work for Jungle Scout? Jerry Braun, you can apply for a job at Jungle Scout. I don't know your background yet, so I don't know if you can work for Jungle Scout, but we do have like 3 or 4 open job positions right now. junglescout.com/jobs. Super cool company to work for. Actually, the entire company, 30 or 31, 32 people or something, I'm in Budapest right now. Everyone's coming to Budapest tomorrow on Friday. That's why we're doing Friday Q&A session on Thursday, because I'm hanging with the team tomorrow night. Yeah, so that was what I was getting at. That's one of the perks of the job. You get to come to like cool places and hang out with really awesome people. We're going to go over our plans, how we're going to continue to make sure Jungle Scout is the undisputed leader in the industry, continue to do awesome stuff and provide a tremendous amount of value for you guys, even if you're not one of our customers. Guitatang 888 said, hey Greg, why can I not pay for Jungle Scout with PayPal? Actually, you can. That's not an accepted payment method on our website, but if you email us at hello@junglescout.com, we'll send you a PayPal invoice and we'll get you hooked up and you can purchase it with PayPal. PayPal's kind of sucks. It's a real big hassle for merchants, whoever to work for. So that's why we don't have it on the website. It's way easier and a better customer experience to provide. Just check out with credit card. That's the way we have it. But yeah, email us and we'll hook you up. All right, lots and lots of questions. I'm gonna switch from YouTube real quick and switch over to Facebook. Harry Gillen said, where is he reading the questions from? Harry, I'm sorry, we're streaming live on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook simultaneously, so that's why I was reading the questions from. But now I read your question. My buddy Ramsey just joined. Ramsey, what's up? Mark said, has the format of bulk files used for upload to sponsored products changed, as I'm getting the error that the header record is incomplete while using a file that worked previously? I'm not aware of the bulk upload changing, but to be fully transparent, I've only used that a handful of times in my entire life, so I'm not the best to answer that question. I'm confused about buy box and multiple sellers and how it can affect my listing. Can you explain this further? Amisha asked this. Yes. If you go to Amazon right now, click on any product, over on the right-hand side, there's like the big add to cart button, right? And there is an orange little thin box written around it, okay? This is what we like to call as the buy box. If there are multiple sellers selling the same product, so for example, go to like Nike shoes or like some like iPad, I don't know, some like popular product that lots of people would be selling the exact same thing. There's lots of sellers on that listing, and Amazon has an algorithm, and they essentially say, we'll give the buy box to whatever seller or sellers we think would be the best experience for our customer, which at the end of the day means like good feedback and a good price. We'll either give them the buy box or rotate them through the buy box. Now, this is only a concern for people if you're selling like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, or whatever. You're selling products that other people are selling. Then you have to be concerned with how you price your item, your seller feedback, etc., because you want to make sure that you get the buy box. Okay, so when a customer goes on to Amazon listing, they click that button. They're actually purchasing from one seller. That seller might be Amazon or it might be a third-party seller. That's who controls the buy box and gets the sale. If you're selling a private label product, if I'm selling this glass and it's Greg's glass and no one else sells this, I'm the only one that sells this brand, I'm not concerned about the buy box because I'm the only one on this particular listing selling it. Toby, hi Greg, how are you? Hey Toby, I'm good. How are you? What's the difference when selling as a company as opposed to an individual person? Can I sell as an individual person or is it not worth it? I'm going to assume you're talking about the US market. In the US, the advantages of selling as a company, as far as I'm concerned, the only advantage of selling as let's just say it's a sole proprietor LLC versus a single person who hasn't incorporated is setting up an LLC in the legal structure. Or at least the main benefit of this, and of course, like I'm not an attorney, so verify this with your respective lawyer, legal professional. But it provides you with liability protection. So if someone buys Greg's glasses that we already talked about selling, they trip on the floor, they bash their face on my glass, it breaks and it cuts them in the eye, so they decide it's Greg's glasses' fault and they want to sue my company, I would only be liable for whatever assets are held inside that company. Again, this is my understanding of it. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. If I was an individual person, they could also come after my personal assets. So they sued me for $50,000. I don't have $50,000, so they also take my car. That's the major difference. What most sellers do, if you're just starting out, you have a few products to sell, you want to test the waters. I know a lot of sellers sell as the individual person, but once you're ready to get a little bit more serious about selling on Amazon FBA, it's pretty inexpensive to set up an LLC in the States, and it does provide you with that liability protection. Most people never need this in their entire lives, but it's a good thing to have, right? So, yeah. Let's see what other questions we have in here. All right. If we have some friends in the States, do you recommend asking them to buy our product to get some movement and some reviews? Is it against terms of service? This is against Amazon terms of service, so I'm not going to recommend you to do so. Like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of following all of Amazon's terms of service. I do everything by the book in all my businesses in life, so I would not recommend for you to do that and break the terms of service. All right. So many questions on YouTube, so I'm going to go back over here. Some people are going to be upset, but I'm going to skip to the bottom. So if I skipped your question, feel free to throw it in again at the bottom. Facebook and YouTube Live are lagging compared to Periscope. So if you want this, that's what Albie Do said. So if you want this most up to date, earliest, a few seconds earlier, check out Periscope. If you guys haven't already done so, it makes me feel really good and happy and excited when to continue to do these. when we get subscribers to our YouTube channel, or the little like and thumbs up and heart and all those cool things on Periscope and Facebook. So smash that button a few times, and once I see those, then I'll go back to answering your questions. All right. Could you tell us a few hacks to increase sales? Christian Diakunu asked this. Sure. One of my favorite hacks that not that many people do to increase sales is to put a competitive matrix on the images on your Amazon products. So what are you talking about here? All right. So for example, our Jungle Snugs listing, it has this nice competitive matrix. So it has our product versus our competitors' products on Amazon. So this is an excellent opportunity for us to call out our unique selling propositions. So our towel's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit thicker. It's all the money is being donated to charity. What else? We have a few other things that make it better than the competitors. So we did a competitive matrix like thickness. Ours is 500 GSM, or our competitors are like 350. Size. Ours is 35 inch by 35 inch. Our competitors are like 30 by 30 or 32 by 32. You get the idea. That's like a good little hack that I don't see many people using to make more sales. Another thing I'm a huge fan of is split testing on Amazon. This is like, to me, very low hanging fruit that, again, not many people do it. Of course, I'm using the tool Splitly to do so, but you can do this manually if you don't want to pay for tools, but it helps a lot. Zimmer said, missed the start. Did my question about the tracker get answered? I didn't answer any questions about that. So drop it in here again. Sorry, I missed some questions because there's so many in here and they're on my screen. They're going up pretty fast. Greg, do you think we will have time to order samples and then order the large quantity in order to catch you said QA, but I think Q4 peak period in regards to the sleeping bags? Boris, yes, we do believe that we can hit the holiday rush of Q4 with our sleeping bags. So for you guys who are not familiar with it, we are launching a product in the UK right now in our $1 million case study. We have not chosen our supplier. Hopefully by next week, Kim will have chosen the supplier. Kim's my co-host who's doing it with me. She'll have chosen the supplier. Today is August 24th. So let's say we choose next week. Let's just say that's September 1st. Our product should be done by the last day of September. That puts us into October. If we ship by air, that would put us like the second week of October, our listing live. If we ship by ocean, that would be the end of October or like November 1st. So either way there, if we put in a little room for air, it's getting pretty tight, but I still think we can make it. Let's see. What are your plans to launch the next million product in Indian marketplace? I don't know. We'll see how the $1 million case study goes. We're kind of, making this up as we go. We don't know our exact plans to get to $1 million in revenue. We now have 2 products in the US. We have Jungle Sticks, which are marshmallow sticks, and Jungle Snugs, which are hooded baby towels. We're launching a 3rd product, our sleeping bags, in the UK. If you guys have an idea of what we should call them, drop it in the chat box. Let's see. Some people earlier said like Jungle Sleeps. I feel like it needs to be like a JS something, right? Because we have, of course, Jungle Scout. Then we launched Jungle Sticks. Then we had Jungle Snugs. Jungle Sleeps, it doesn't have a very nice ring to it, but it does follow the whole JS thing. So, drop that in there. But I don't know. Maybe we'll launch something in India. It's a growing marketplace. I've never sold anything there. That is kind of exciting to me. Let me know. Vanessa said, should I launch in the UK or the US market? I would launch in whatever marketplace is the lowest barrier of entry to you. So if you live in the UK and you feel like it's easier for you to launch in the UK, then sell there. We did this really cool survey at the beginning of this year where we surveyed 2,500 Amazon sellers. And it was really cool because we got insights from people about how much money they invested, what marketplace they got started at, how much money they're making now, all this kind of stuff, right? And the most important factor to where they're at today was just getting started. We would have thought that if you can start with $10,000 instead of $1,000, a year later, you should be making more money. And that actually didn't turn out to be true. So the most important thing to do is to get started. The best time to start selling on Amazon was 10 years ago. The second best time to start on Amazon is today. I'm seeing Jungle Nap, Jungle Snooze. Jungle Slumber's pretty good. Let me, maybe Amelia, who's helping me moderate the chat box, why don't you take note of that one? Jungle Snooze, that's pretty good. Jungle Slumber, Jungle Nap, Jungle Z's, Jungle Snooze, I want credit. Jungle Sleeper, that's pretty good. We could do Jungle Snugs again, but I don't know, like, if I was like a serious like mountain climber, I don't know if like I would want a sleeping bag called Jungle Snugs. It might seem like a little amateur, I don't know. But those are all good. All right, let's see here. Jungle Bags, Jungle Sack. Not bad. Jungle Snore, that's kind of funny. Jungle Sleepers, that's good. All right, let me grab a couple from Facebook here. Hi, Greg. Does more pictures improve the listing rank? I'll tell you this. Having more pictures, and this was from Sunny, and he called me Dr. Greg. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a regular old guy answering a few guys' questions. Having more pictures, I would recommend to put up at least 6 pictures because that's how many show up on Amazon by default. If you click like the more picture, you can see 8. I put up 8 pictures on all my products. That's what I'd encourage you to do. So I don't know if Amazon directly takes that into account in their ranking algorithm. However, it will improve your conversions, which ultimately improves your sales, which then will improve your ranking algorithm. So I would encourage you to put more images on there. I'm seeing Jungle S'mores, Jungle Snore, Jungle Sleep, Jungle Backache. Dude, these are nice. Oh, who said this? Koi Beats. These are nice, high quality sleeping bags, man. These won't give you a backache. These are like sleeping on a cloud. Jungle Knapsack, JS Sleepers. These are all good. Jungle Back Pain. Come on, guys. What did I say? High quality. All right. Now, I've lost all the questions in YouTube because I have 100 names for our sleeping bags. What does LQS mean in the product database? LQS is the listing quality score. We've graded all of the listings in our database on Amazon 1 through 100, how quality of a listing we think it is, or how well we think that listing will likely convert. Okay. So we take into account the number of pictures, the resolution of the pictures, the number of keywords, length of title, number of bullets, length of bullets, description, enhanced brand content, all this kind of stuff. And we rank them 1 through 100. So if you see a product, a listing that's selling well, and it has a crappy listing and a crappy LQS, that could potentially be a good opportunity for you because like if they're selling 500 units a month and they have like one picture in this really janky listing, like you could probably sell the same thing with a really high-end listing and do really well. So yeah, that's why we put it in there. Amazon told me I cannot put in my listing that I'm donating proceeds to charity. I guess we've had it on there a long time. I've never had any problems. I'll probably just keep it on there. I don't think that's specifically in their TOS. Is it profitable to start an Amazon business with a friend? Well, if you started with one other friend and you split profits 50-50, I think it would still could be profitable, but I would guess you'd only make 50% of the profits. What are the ways we can get customer emails? You cannot. You get an anonymized email address from Amazon, and this is how you're allowed to send specific types of messages to the buyer, but you can't get their actual email through Amazon. There is something you can do, and we're actually doing this with our reorder of Jungle Snugs. We're putting a product insert inside our packaging, and it tells them to go to junglesnugs.com/whatever and enter their email or /giveaway, I think, and enter their email address to be entered to win a bundle of baby products. So I'll report back how that goes. People tell me it's like 1 or 2% end up doing this. So that means we're selling like 600 units a month. 1% of that would be like 6 people 2% would be 12. So maybe we'll get 6 to 12 emails per month. It's not really that many. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with the email list. So it's not like a must do by any means, but we're figuring, hey, why not? It's like fun to do for the case study. Jungle jammies. Probably that one's probably a little childish for guys. These are like nice high-end sleeping bags that like mountaineers want to use. All right. Jungle bug, snug as a bug. Jungle dreams, bingo. Jungle snooze. I've always been told to launch a product in the US because it's a big market and I live in the UK. The US is by far the biggest market, but keep in mind that like we're not Amazon, right? We don't really care about the overall market size because like we don't have 100,000 or 1 million products on Amazon, right? Most of you guys have like a few products on Amazon. So we don't necessarily have to have the biggest market. We just have to have 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 products in niches that are doing well. So like sleeping bags sell a few thousand units every month on the UK market. So sure, the UK market's not as big as the US market, but if we can sell 500 sleeping bags a month or 800 sleeping bags a month in the UK, I'm cool with that. That's good. All right. Let's see. All the real questions are getting lost in our. I do appreciate all the names for the sleeping bags, though. We're going to take some of these. Jungle Savior, not bad. Jungle Sack, it's been said a few times. All right. Jungle Super Bag. Jungle Saints, not bad. All right. Back to questions. How many products do you currently sell? I publicly in the $1 million case study only have 2 products, but personally I also have another Amazon FBA business outside of Jungle Scout, and it has roughly 200 SKUs in there. Please tell us, when will JumpSend be available for the German market? Well, Christian, we are really hoping that when we launch our sleeping bags, we do so on JumpSend, because I don't really know another good place to do so. So our goal is to have JumpSend ready in the EU by the time we launch our product, which at this point's 2 months away. So you're probably looking at 2 months for JumpSend. I went through the process making my product step by step with the Jungle Scout webinars, but I haven't got my first sale yet. So Peter, I would encourage you to watch our, go back to the $1 million case study and watch our launch process, right? I'll give you the rundown of it real quick, but just listing a product on Amazon, like the whole like if you build it, they will come thing on Amazon's not true until you've launched your product there, okay? So you can't just put up a listing on Amazon and think that it will just magically sell. You first have to launch your product. After a successful launch, your product will rank well in the algorithms organically for your keywords, and that's when, at that point, that's when it'll start to sell well on Amazon, okay? So in general, my launch process is I give away coupons on JumpSend. This would be like for the first 2 weeks, I give away like 5 or 10 coupons a day for maybe like 75% off. So that increases the sales velocity of my product. After that, hopefully from those sales, and at that point I've probably gotten a few organic sales, I am aggressive with my PPC spend, even if I'm losing a little bit of money on each sale. At that point, I probably have pretty good sales velocity. Also during that part 2 where I'm aggressive with my PPC spend, I also normally lower my price a little bit, so it's like the most attractive price against all my competitors. At that point, almost always do my products start selling well, and that's when I slowly start to inch my price back up. So if we use Jungle Snugs for an example, I think at one point, I was down to $16.95. We sold it like that for a few weeks. Then I went up to $17.95. Now it's at $18.95, and maybe I'll change it tonight back up to like $19.95. And our goal is to get up to like $22 or so. So, yeah, you have to go through the launch process that I'm describing on Amazon for it to start selling. So understand that you have to lose a little bit of money as marketing costs for the first few weeks or first month or first 2 months. And then after that, it's a long-term game. Like after that, you've done all the work. That's when this process is really like on autopilot, where you're making the money and there's not like much work to do anymore. Amazon's doing all the work with the pick, pack, and ship and all that good stuff. All right, Zimmer asks, what shortfalls should I be aware of with regards to the product tracker? This is a good question. So the product tracker is a tool inside the Jungle Scout web app, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about. The only real all right, so let's talk about I'm going to try to keep this kind of short, but the product tracker tracks a product on a daily basis to determine inventory, sales, and bestsellers rank. If there's less than 999 units in stock, we can get an actual number for inventory. If it's bigger than 999 units, then we cannot. So if it's less than 999, we can take the difference of inventory from one day to the next and assume that's sales, and that should be pretty darn accurate. If there's 999 or more, then we estimate sales based off the best sellers rank. And again, our algorithms now are pretty darn accurate, so it's pretty close. One thing that is kind of funny right now, and actually this is going to change in like a week, but right now, if there's reserved inventory, so that means like on your product or on one of your competitors' products, they only allow you to check out like 3 or 5 or 10 units at a time. Right now, the product tracker doesn't have a way to figure that out and estimate sales based off rank instead of inventory change. However, our developers actually just figured out this pretty cool hack on how they're going to be able to do that. So they're working on coding it right now. That'll probably be available like next week. But in that one particular scenario, which affects a very small percentage of the products, that is a shortfall you should be aware of. So good question. All right. I skipped over some of the questions. I'm sorry. There's just too many. The 999 trick can be blocked. Yeah, we already went over that though, but at that point we estimate sales based off the rank. All right. Thanks for the info and the vids and the help. Any product research ideas for the UK would be appreciated. Jaco George, I would really encourage you to go back and look at the $1 Million Case Study Europe edition. So this is the one we're doing right now. So if you go to junglescout.com/million, you can see a recap of this. But we did 2 whole 1-hour sessions just on product research for the UK. So I'd really encourage you to watch that. But overall, we're looking for products that have existing demand, low competition, no legal issues, some things like that. But in the short Q&A session, I can't go too deep into that because I could talk about this for hours like I did. But I would really encourage you to check out those 2 sessions of the $1 Million Case Study. I'm new in Amazon, and shipping from Morocco is very high. I put a couple products, but they are not selling yet, and my budget is $1. What can I do? Unfortunately, you can't. Maybe you're talking about your budget's $1 on PPC, because if your overall budget for selling on Amazon is only $1, unfortunately, there's not too much you can do. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that question. I'm sorry. Hey, Greg, I've launched my first product, and it's on JumpSend and Amazon PPC. I'm on page 2, sometimes 3, depending on the keyword. When should I start to raise my price? Wait until it's on page 1. I would start to raise your price. Brian, REISS. I would start to raise your price once you're making whatever sales you're happy with or you were shooting for. So, just because you're on page 2 or 3 for your main keywords, it doesn't necessarily mean that your product's not selling well, because a lot of purchases on Amazon happen with long tail keywords. So for example, I'd say my main keyword for my towels is hooded baby towel. However, I noticed that our ranks actually slipped these past couple of days. Instead of being in spot number 4 or 5, we're in spot 7 or 8. But we're selling just as many units, and a big reason for that is some people are searching for a hooded baby towel, but other people are searching for bamboo towel for kid with hood. And maybe like I'm ranked in number one spot for these keywords that I don't even know like people are searching for, right? So I'd say like start to raise it once you're making good sales that like you're confident and comfortable with. Let me grab a few questions from Facebook. All right, this is a little different question because it's not really about Amazon FBA, but I said I'd answer anything. So Bilal asked, how big is the software dev team for Jungle Scout? Did you fund the initial development yourself from FBA profits? Good question. So we have 11 full-time developers on the Jungle Scout team, and we have 3 part-time developers. So there's about 14 developers that work on Jungle Scout and our tools. It didn't start off that big, but as we get larger and want to build new features and improve accuracy and make it all around better, we've grown the team. And yes, I have bootstrapped this company. It's self-funded. I didn't take on any VC funding. I funded it from my FBA profits. So that's exactly correct. Good question. All right. Would you recommend to focus on the first product to get it to the top of the page or to start a second product? Assuming the first product is still selling well, but not perfectly. This is a good question. I would probably do both simultaneously. So when you're launching products on Amazon, there's a fair amount of like downtime, right? So you could like start with your second product right now. And, like you're doing your research, you're, keeping an eye on your first product, seeing how well it does. Then like when you're waiting for that 1 month period for your product to be manufactured in China, I'm assuming you're a private label seller. That's when you could go back and try to do some more work optimizing your listing. So maybe you could take some different pictures. You could run some split tests. You could test different prices, test a different main image. Maybe set up like a promotion at checkout. So if they order 2, they get 10% off. There's different little things you can do like that to try to increase your sales. And a really good time to do that would be while you're like waiting for the second product. So that's what I'd say. What's the lowest entry investment which grew to a successful seller? So we did this survey like I was talking about earlier. It was really cool because we gained some really cool insights like that. And there are a lot of successful sellers that start out with like $100 or $500, so a relatively like low amount of spend. That being said, it's quite a bit easier to start if you have what I say is $2,000. If you have $2,000 to invest in inventory to get this business started, it's much easier. Okay. So if you're willing to, if you have $100, but a lot of drive and hustle and willing to make it work, you can definitely do so. But you need to be thinking about things besides a private label product where there's a larger minimum order quantity. Maybe this means you're ordering some products off AliExpress and selling them. Maybe you're doing like a little bit of retail arbitrage or something else, or maybe a whole business model altogether to raise money, to have more capital to invest in the business. Good question. Can you still start now to catch Q4? Yes, you can still start now. You're starting to run out of time though. So like if you're on the fence and you want to catch Q4, I'd say like you need to be doing your product research like this week and next week, or like, you need to probably choose your product by like the second week of September, which means you have like 3 weeks to kind of choose your product. Or I guess if you ship by air, you could be a little bit slower, but I mean, now is the time to start if you want to catch the kind of the Q4 rush. All right, long question here. I've recently found a product by using Jungle Scout web app. Awesome. I'm glad you're able to find a great product for it. It seemed to be more than positive. Great demand with 7,000 estimated sales. Level of competition was perfect. Awesome. Sounds like a really good product. The only thing that looks sketchy is that they are selling the items in bulk that varies from 50 to even 200 pieces. This isn't really sketchy. Like an example of this is like I was looking at a product last week. It was like the cardboard boxes, right? They sell in units of 10 or 50 or 200. So I don't think that's sketchy. Let's see. There's more to the question though. At an average price of $12. The price point's a little bit low, but if, the Alessandro asked this, the average price is $12. I would probably see what you can do to get the price point up a little bit. Like $15 would be better. $18 or $20 would be something that I personally would be more interested in. But if the margins work out and there's money to be made even at the $12 price point, then go for it. Ali asks, I'm searching for a product to sell on Amazon. How can I use your tool to do some market research? Great question. So Jungle Scout is a tool specifically built for Amazon sellers to make product research easy. So it gives you all the data and key metrics and information that you need to know to make educated decisions about what good markets or niches or products are going to make you money to sell on Amazon. So an example of how it does that would be it shows you estimated sales for all your competition on Amazon, or not even necessarily competition, but in like any niche or any product. So I can go in there, I can quickly see that, oh, in this niche, there's 3,000 units being sold every month. It's in this short Q&A session, I can't go into it in too much depth, but if you go to junglescout.com, we have some really good videos on it. If you are still not sure and on the fence, we have a great money back guarantee policy. So like when in doubt, you can always just purchase it and use it for a few days. And if like you don't think it will help you, I'm very confident you will think it will. But like you can always just email us and we'll give you your money back. But also, if you look at the $1 million case study, again, since Ali, I apologize, I'm not going into this question too deeply exactly how to find this product. But if you look at our $1 million case study, which you can find at junglescout.com/million, the first 2 sessions of part 1 in US and part 2 in the UK, we go in we show you step by step exactly the exact blueprint of how to find these good opportunities on Amazon. So I would encourage you to check that out. Lisa, I've found more than 5 products I want to launch. Do you think it's too bold to start with, let's say, 5 products, or would you start with 1 or 2? I want to catch the big Q4. Lee, I like the enthusiasm here. I'm stoked to hear you found 5 products. This all depends on this is a good question. And it all depends on your confidence of how much you feel. I'm assuming that you haven't ever sold anything on Amazon before. So it depends, I think, like on your confidence level of how much education you think you've absorbed to like understand selling on Amazon well, and probably also how much capital you have to invest in the business. If you have the capital to launch all 5, you feel well educated and confident in the process, then go with all 5. If you're not quite sure, double guessing it, maybe you haven't had too much time to look over like our free educational resources, then you could start with 1 or 2 or 3 and kind of learn from your mistakes, and at that point do the other ones. But yeah, that'd be my thoughts for it. All right, 48. I have time for about 2 to 3 more questions. So I'm gonna try to grab a few that are kind of common questions that a lot of people are asking. All right. Ishmael asks, what's the best way to get reviews? The best way to get reviews is to make sales and send a follow-up email sequence to the customer. Okay. Another little way that could kind of help would be asking for a review, maybe on your packaging or in a product insert on your particular product. But that's what it takes to get reviews now. And that's all that what I just explained there is per the terms of service. If it's a brand new product and it doesn't have any reviews, you can give away or sell products at a discount. So for example, I use jumpsend.com. Of course, it's our product, so I'm a little biased, but it's a lot of people in this chat will tell you it's the best tool to do this in the whole industry. And there's a deal site on there. I can list my product on the deal site. I can give away my product at a discount to help me make sales. And then you're going to send a follow-up sequence to all of those sales and any organic sales. And you're going to ask all your customers to leave a review. By sending them this message and asking them to leave a review, this normally greatly increases the amount of reviews you get. And that's all there is to it now. I mean, and when I say that's all there is to it, it's not super easy to get reviews on Amazon anymore, but with sales comes reviews. Like my Jungle Snugs product, I think it has 45, maybe even 50, probably like 45 reviews now. We launched that in the beginning of June. So let's see, June, July, now we're almost at the end of August. So it's been 2.5, it's probably been on Amazon for 2.5 months now, and it has about like 45 reviews. So yeah, it's doing fine. What is Q4? Q4 is the fourth quarter. So that is December, November, and October, the last 3 months in the calendar year. And during this time, that's when a lot of people are doing their holiday shopping. So sales really increase a lot. So when I say Q4, that's what I'm talking about. I've made it through 7 of the webinars of the $1 Million Case Study. Loving it so far. So valuable info. Claire, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So subsequent video might answer this question. Have you run into an issue where you're researching and developing a private label product and right before you launch, you realize that another FBA seller had the same exact idea? Or it's too similar, a little better than yours, etc. Yes, it's possible this can happen. However, like, what can you do about it, right? I mean, you just have to push forward and launch the product and sell it. The good thing for you is they're launching at more or less the same time as you, maybe like only a month ahead of time. So it's not that big of a deal. They don't have that many more sales than you. And like, I'm not that scared about competition on Amazon, right? Because it's such a huge marketplace and there's so many sales on it that it's like, all right, one more person's a competitor and now they have a similar product than you. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, right? Let's see. All right. I skipped over a lot of the questions in YouTube. I apologize. There's too many questions for me to ask in the hour. However, I think I got to more than half of them, so that's good. Let's see. Greg, will you invite an EU or UK tax advisor to talk more about the taxes in the EU or UK? Yes, we absolutely will. I think this is next week or the following week. Sign up at junglescout.com/million and subscribe to us on YouTube, and you'll definitely be notified of when this episode happens, but we're certainly doing that. Jungle Moccasin. All right. I see lots of questions now. I'm trying to grab a couple that I feel like would benefit everyone. Travis has asked this a couple of times. I've seen this. How does the $1 Million Case Study compare to a course like ASM 7? To be completely honest, I've never taken the Amazing Selling Machine courses, so I can't really compare it. So I don't know exactly. However, I will say like the $1 Million Case Study, a lot of people have told us this, and I believe it, that it gives you all the knowledge that you need to successfully launch a private label product on Amazon. Is there other information in a course like ASM 7 that's not in there? I don't know. There could possibly be. Like I said, I haven't personally taken it, so it could be excellent. I can't quite compare it, but like I'm quite confident in the quality of the $1 Million Case Study is what I will say. All right. How do you deal with selling products that people have claimed a patent on? You cannot sell products that are patented if it's the same product or if it violates their particular patent. So yeah, keep that in mind. IP laws can be tricky. If it's an exact copy of a patented product, it's obvious infringement. Now there's a lot of gray areas in there, but I would encourage you just to stay clear of anything with any IP issues. I know there's a common question, so I'll also clarify that a patent is different than a trademark. In the $1 Million Case Study, the first part, we brought on an IP attorney that went over patent and trademark laws. It's anytime that I personally watch like a legal type like webinar, I think it's a little bit boring, but the attorney we brought on does actually do a really nice job explaining this stuff. And like anything legal or tax related, it's a little bit boring, but it's important stuff to know when you're creating your business. So with that being said, guys, I got to rock and roll. I still have more work to do tonight, and it's getting a little bit late in Europe, so I have got to go. I always see like questions like out of the corner of my eye, like, why did you make all this information free? I'm not complaining, but the information is fantastic. But why did you do it for free? Because, guys, that's just like the type of company that Jungle Scout is. We want to provide amazing value to all the Amazon sellers in the space. Whether or not you're a customer of ours or not, I know there's a lot of people charging hundreds or thousands of dollars for realistically lesser quality content, but that's just not the kind of company we are. So, we want to, and of course, like for selfish reasons as well, it helps provide exposure for Jungle Scout, providing all this amazing free content and value and educational resources, helps spread the Jungle Scout word, because a lot of you guys, say, hey, you should check out Jungle Scout. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. So gotta go, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Next week, I'm probably going to do it on Thursday again next week. Next week, I'm going to be hanging out with the whole Jungle Scout team. So Friday night might be a little party night or something. I don't know. Oh, actually, it could be a party night. All right. Amelia, our social media manager, I'm going to ask her to drop a link in here. If you're in Budapest, we may throw a party next Friday. So it's a week from tomorrow. So that would be like September 1st or something. Maybe September 2nd. I don't know. Depending on how much interest there is, the whole Jungle Scout team is going to be in Budapest next week. We're coming here for a team offsite so we can plan goals for next year and all that good stuff. If there's a lot of Jungle Scout fans in the area, we want to maybe throw a little shindig for everyone. So we're going to try to drop a link in these chat boxes now for you to let us know that you're in the area and you'd be interested in coming. And then we'll go from there. Yes, everyone can come. Everyone's invited. If you're just in the area, just let us know and we will let you know. So please hit the subscribe and the heart and the like button. That's what makes me stoked to do these week after week and give you guys an hour of my time answering all your questions. So thank you very much for doing that in advance, and I will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Take care.